Hi Josh, thanks for the questions. This one is quite hard to visualize. I think it certainly helps if you draw a diagram. So if this here is the world, what's happening is the plane is going from Hobart, and if we call that the equator, I'll move Hobart down a bit, that's Darwin, that's Hobart. We know that Hobart is essentially 43 degrees south of the equator. So it's 43 degrees down that way. So from there, they're starting from there and they're flying directly south to the South Pole. And then they're changing direction, so you can think about it almost as a separate part of a circle, to head up to somewhere in Chile. And they're going to go up like this, to some point in Chile, not directly on the other side of the world. So really, there's two parts to the diagram there. There is the first flight from Hobart to the South Pole, which goes from 43 degrees south to 90 degrees south. So there's that portion there. And then they turn, but because they're going up another side, really, we can imagine it as almost on the same circle. They turn, and then this black portion here heading up to Chile is them going from the South Pole, flying up until they're 53 degrees south. Alright. So, if we want to work out how far they've travelled, we've got to work out this angle inside here, and once we've got that, we're going to use a formula to find this length they travel there. So the angle inside here, we find this one by doing 90 take 43. 90 take 43, grab your calculator, whatever, 47. Then 90 take 53, which would be 37. Add those two together is 84. So the angle they traverse around here is 84. So really what's happening is they're starting from Hobart, which is here, flying 47, then flying 37 back up to Chile, and they've travelled this distance along here. And we know that the radius of the Earth is 6,400. So the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, and if we want part of a circumference, we put theta on 360 in front of it. So theta on 360 in our case is 84 on 360, because that's the 84 here. Then times 2 times pi times 6,400. I'll pause you while I work that out. Alright, is it unpaused? Yep, unpaused. Alright, so that calculation came out to 9,382 kilometers, which rounds up to 9,400 as your solution. Alright, the next question was quite a difficult application of scale factor. So with scale factor, the one we most commonly work with is length. So in terms of length, we know that if we take one length on the smaller shape, multiply it by the scale factor, we get the length on the larger shape. So from r to 4, we can say multiply by x. We will do r multiplied by x is equal to 4. And remember that equation to come back to it. Now we can also work with volume. So here, what's happening is we'll let the little volume be v, and we're told that the big volume, the volume of the bigger cone, is 3 times the size of the smaller one, so it's 3b. What's happening when we're going between the two is we're multiplying by 3. Right? Now we know that from working with volume scale factors, that to get between volumes in three-dimensional shapes, we multiply by the scale factor cubed. So here we've been told to get from the small one to the big one by multiplying by 3, because it's 3 times the size. We also know that we could achieve the same thing by multiplying by the scale factor cubed. What this means is that 3 is equal to the scale factor cubed. Or, if you want to solve that, x is equal to the cube root of 3. You can take it from there and put that into your CAS. And what that gives us is x is equal to, apologies, I had it before, 1.442. Now note, that's not the radius, that's the scale factor between the shapes. So now we know the scale factor, we can put that back into our formula here. So what we can say is that the radius is multiplied by 1.442, and that gets us to 4. solving this equation for r, so solve for r will equal 2.773, which rounds to 2.8. Alright, so going through that one again from the top just quickly, we know that to get from small to large we multiply by the scale factor when we're working with length. When working with volume, we multiply by the scale factor cubed. Here, they've told us what the scale factor cubed is. So we can say that 3, because it's 3 times the volume, is equal to the scale factor cubed. And that lets us get the scale factor, and then we can effectively use the scale factor in reverse to find r. Alright. Hope that helped. Keep studying, you're doing well.